Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu or Laozi lived in 6th century BCE in China. He is said to be the author of the Tao Te Ching or Tao Te Ching, which is the foundational text of Taoism, a philosophy that traces its origin to shamanism and Hermeticism. Taoism, which is also sometimes called Taoism, literally means the way or the enlightened path, or nature's way, which is a spontaneous, eternal, and an unnameable and undefinable. Quote, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. It is simply the flow of the universe, such as gravity allowing rivers to flow downward without an effort. The core idea of Taoism is the doctrine of Wu Wei, which can be translated as non-resistance or action through inaction. Wei means purposeful and intentional, while Wu means there is no or lacking. So literally it means there is no purposeful act. A good metaphor for humans to live their lives by is river, which the Chinese civilizations relied on. Rivers flow downward. If hindered by a rock, instead of moving the rock, they flow around it. This means we should live our lives in alignment or harmoniously with nature, not against nature. Another important idea of Taoism is Yin Yin Yang, or good and evil, which live together inside everyone, as we all have the dark and light. You cannot separate the two. I think this fundamentally differs from a Western religion, so good and evil are thought to be separate entities. However, according to Taoism, there are two sides of the same coin. Everything is neither completely negative nor positive, but a bit of both. In other words, a saint has his sins and a sinner has his redeeming qualities. In Taoism, humans are one manifestation of the Tao or the Way. You could say just one species among millions of other species. Lao Tzu emphasized not to follow one's desires, goals, or ambitions, but rather find your natural flow. Ziyan, which literally means naturally, is a Taoist value which emphasizes natural creativity and spontaneity. As a result, Taoism is seen as the religion of the artists who live a more intuitive and spontaneous life that mimics nature's flow. You could even make a connection between Carl Jung's psychology of the collective subconscious, deeply embedded memories of our species or those species before that artists tap into by finding the flow of nature. This artistic flow is much more elaborated in another book titled Zhuangzi, supposedly authored by another important figure in Taoism, a man called Zhuangzi. The book has many humorous stories, allegories, and anecdotes, with the most famous one being the butterfly dream, in which Zhuangzi wakes up one morning from a dream in which he turned into a butterfly. Now he is perplexed and asks this mind-blowing question: was he dreaming of a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming Zhuangzi? The answer is not important here, but the question itself is the main point. We humans seek clear answers and clarity, but nature doesn't care about separate entities or separation of different species. Nature is one big perpetual flow. From nature's perspective, a human and butterfly are simply two different manifestations of the same thing. Even the state of being awake and dreaming are false distinctions or dichotomy because they are one and the same thing. For example, artists, novelists, musicians often dream or daydream their best works because they find the flow of nature's collective subconsciousness. Laozi is said to have lived during the Zhou dynasty, whose capital was close to the Yellow River. Therefore, the river is often used as a metaphor for Taoism. Later in life, Laozi is said to have traveled west, where he wrote Tao Te Ching in some remote mountains and then vanished into thin air. Also a great metaphor on how to flow in life like a wind and river. Today, Laozi's ideas are extremely important, but also deeply embedded into the cultures of China, Korea, and Japan. To give you an example, people in Japan tend to be less confrontational, tend to avoid conflict, which fits in with the Taoist idea of non-resistance. So to sum up, Laozi or Taoism philosophy centers on the idea of not going against the natural flow, but flowing with it. Not resisting nature's way, but going with it.